Hey, this is Rick Caselge, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, I wanted to go through 5 steps to joint pain relief. And I'll get Donnelly to demonstrate the first step, and I'll kind of explain it more after she goes through it, and then I'll go through the next 4 in detail. There we go. That ends up being the first one. Maintaining and improving movement in that knee joint. So what you want to do is just go through repeated movements of sitting, bringing the knee towards your chest, and then back down, trying to work on maintaining that range of motion in the knee and improving that range of motion in the knee. Now, if placing your hand is too much on the front of the knee, you can end up going underneath and pulling it up. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to end up straightening the leg and then trying to straighten the leg out so you end up being straight through here. Okay? And then same thing, just straightening that leg and trying to straighten out that knee in order to strengthen the knee, but then also to maintain and improve that movement. So we end up having 2 things that are going on here. So you'd sit, bring single knee to chest, working on maintaining and improving the movement, specifically in the knee joint. That's what we're going to talk about. And then the second one is almost like these little leg kicks, where you're trying to work on the end range of motion of that knee. You're working on maintaining and improving improving the knee joint. Now, when it comes to sets, reps, and times and intensity, sets, I would do 1 set. You do 5 repetitions on each side. When it comes to speed, smooth controlled movement, and intensity ends up being light. Now, moving on to the second step, what we want to do is we want to strengthen around that joint, and the joint we're going to talk about is the knee joint. So you can end up using resistive tubing, which you can get anywhere at any department store. You're going to bend that knee, and then you're going to straighten that leg out. Good, so we're working on strengthening around that knee, and then bending again, and then straightening out. So working on strengthening the muscles around the knee. So bringing the knee back as much as you can, and then you're straightening it out and trying to bring it to straight, not hyperextending it, but to straight. And then when it comes to sets, reps, and times and intensity, set 1 repetitions, you're going to do 5 repetitions. When it comes to speed, smooth controlled movement, and coming to a good stop at the end, at the start and at the end. And intensity, the intensity you want is to be light. So that ends up being the 2 steps. Now, the third step ends up being strengthening above. So we're going to move from the chair, and we're going to move down to the mat to go through that step, demonstrating that step. So you're going to lie down on your back, hands are to the side, you've got your knees bent, your feet are about hip-width apart, and then what you're going to do is push through your feet and lift up your seat, and you're trying to bring your hips, or your shoulders, hips, and knees in a straight line. And what we're working on is strengthening the hamstrings and the glutes. You're going to hold that position, then you're going to come back down. So with this one ends up being an example of strengthening above. So we're looking for joint pain relief, specifically in the knee joints. So now we're strengthening above the hamstrings and the glutes. And by strengthening the hamstrings and the glutes, that ends up decreasing the stress and strain on the knee joint. Now, when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets, just go with 1 set. You're looking at 5 repetitions. The time, smooth controlled movement. At the top position, you're coming to a stop, so you're holding for a second or 2, and the intensity ends up being light. You should feel that you're activating the muscle and you're strengthening the muscle. So that ends up being step 3. Moving to step 4, we want to end up strengthening below. So a good example of that ends up being like toe raises. So you can have your hand against the wall to eliminate balance, but then in time you're going to work your way away from the wall. But we'll demonstrate it with your hand on the wall, because you eliminate balance, and then you can just isolate and focus on the movements. So Donnelly's going to come onto her toes, good, as high as she can, good, and then back down, and then again. So what we're working on is we're strengthening the ankle area, so the calves, and also with that strengthening, we end up loosening up the ankle joint, which ends up being a good benefit. And by strengthening below, that ends up helping with knee pain and that joint pain in the knees. When it comes to sets, reps, and time, you're looking at 1 set, 5 repetitions total, time, smooth controlled movement with a good stop at the top of the movement, so a second or 2 hold. And the intensity, you should feel like you're working, that the muscle's working, the muscle ends up being activating. So that ends up being the four steps. Now the last one ends up being something that I recommend when it comes to supplementing or taking in order to help when it comes to joint pain relief. So there is the supplement that I've ended up putting together called Joint Complex 4000. It ends up helping when it comes to joint pain relief. And if you want more information on that, just take a look in the description area and click the link in there. So there you go, that ends up being the 5 steps to joint pain relief. Now, if you want some more of my tips and tricks when it relates to knee pain relief, then click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Knee Pain and Tightness. Just click right here, let me know where to send you that brand new free report, and I'll send you that brand new free report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, or smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will end up being exercisesforinjuries.com/knees. Let me know where to send that brand new free report, and I'll send you that brand new free report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, then make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And lastly, hit subscribe before you go so you'll be kept up to date with future pain relieving videos.
Yeah.